Good morning, traders, and welcome to the Bookmap live trading webinar today with JTrader. Hold on a minute. Let's get there. All right, so today we have stocks trader JTrader, and he'll come on in just a few minutes or so. All right, so today he'll trade live. He's a stocks trader looking at order flow, intraday trading, also swing trading, you guys know who he is. He's been doing webinars with us for quite a while. I do have his contact information here. He does offer mentoring services, so I'll put that into the chat for you. And then this is important. You guys got to know, it's good to get this message across about what exactly this live trading is. Okay, so we need to go through the general disclosure and the risk disclosure. General disclosure: all Bookmap limited materials, information, and presentations are for educational purposes only and should not be considered specific investment advice nor recommendations. Live trading is in simulation, demo paper trading mode, and strictly for educational purposes. Live trading executed in simulation cannot accurately represent realistic trading performance. Risk disclosure: trading futures, equities, and digital currencies involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. An investor could potentially lose all or more than the initial investment. Risk capital is money that can be lost without jeopardizing one's financial security nor lifestyle. Only risk capital should be used for trading, and only those with sufficient risk capital should consider trading. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. Okay, so we'll jump right in. Let's take a look at the S&P here for a minute. And see what's going on before JTrader gets in, which is good. We will give an overview of what's happening in here. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Louis and Bert. Let's even start again here and pose the question for you guys out there. I mean, here we are. We dropped on the overnight session, but look at the bullish action coming in today. So what do you guys think? Are you bearish or bullish today? We can take a look at our higher time frame candlestick chart here, where might we be going? We had talked about this at length now since Friday. This is Friday's action and how much got filled here on the offer. And trading, we talked about yesterday, trading down to this range here, but the bulls continue to press things up. Okay, so Tom Thumb, like you said, pull back, but you're still bearish here. Pull back from the 30 level up here, so it almost got there. All right, Colin, yeah, you're bearish as well. Okay, you're looking for 83 though. Okay, well, I mean, technically, like we got to get below the swing here. We've gotten below this swing here on the lower time frame. We got to get below this one here, or maybe the daily in here, which is about 44, to start seeing maybe a shift or change in things. And we talked about this as you're looking in order flow, you can, even though it's bullish activity here, you start to see the bears come in, and this is a good indication of it right here. And then also the gap today is another great indication of that. You can trade from this top end up here or high down to the level that we're looking for. Okay, and that would be the 42.50. That's where we noticed all of these. That's where it began. All those limit sell orders getting filled on the offer on the way up. All right, so that's what we can look for here, is a test down to this area. In fact, let's take a look here at Bookmap. And look at 42.50. Okay, we're getting pretty close now. I know yesterday we looked at it, or I saw high liquidity down here. It's in front a bit, and they just pulled here as well. So, kind of advertising that they're bullish, but they're not. They pulled it, and we don't think that they added it someplace else. These guys were already in here. Maybe adding it somewhere in here, 65 or etc. We continue to go higher here. Okay, so we're kind of looking at this kind of bullish activity in here, but looking for that trade back down to that 50 level here, 42.50. Okay, and what that is going to look like on our higher time frame here. And we marked it up here, and we're keen on this area here. Came close to it on Monday, you know, in the Sunday evening, but you can see the these are, you know, real trading or regular trading sessions, not the extended trading. All right, so a lot of you guys are bearish here, and that's you know, it's kind of interesting. You can kind of see these squeezes, continues to squeeze, so you know, this is where I think it's really important to mention here in the order flow. Order flow rules. The chart will tell you, the trader's behavior will tell you. This is a very different stance on we have bias, and maybe you can be overall bearish or bullish or whatever. And if so, let the order flow tell you that is in line with what you're looking for. If it is, then maybe you have something. Maybe you have not just a bias, but you have reasons for that bias. Okay, and let the chart tell you, right? Because it's all here. We have the condition of the auction here, the participants, their behavior, and understanding of their context in here. You know, limit sell, limit buy, the aggressors in here moving price higher or moving it lower, green dots moving it higher, red dots taking it down. These are the market buy and sell orders, and then we also have the price structure. Now, and price structure is such a key element here, and we talk about it all the time, but I want to and we're not going to talk about it too much right now, but it's just the best bid and offer here. If we take the heat map off, if we take the volume dots off, just price structure, price action, right? And understanding this price structure here, well, we made a higher high here, we're making higher lows here, and we have been marking these up for years, looking at price structure. Okay, where, you know, we look at these horizontal areas or draw rectangles here, like right now. Okay, they're breaking the trend line. They're just kind of testing this area here, and so we're looking for what? Are sellers going to move this lower? Okay, they're just testing it right now, this swing low here. All right, and now what we want to understand is the order flow within here to give us some insight. Okay, so let's add the volume dots and let's add the heat map. Okay, let's add the complete. So as you can see, like what I'm doing in here is just we're taking structure, and now we have context of that structure. And this is really a key element to understand. Okay, what is driving that structure? Well, here it is. Okay, they're on the bid here. Looks like some of it pulled, some of it transacted. Look at the flip of the order book in here. Okay, they're on the offer heavily on the way down here, and we're still finding sellers. So still looking for lower lows here, 71, 70. Okay, now that's what we're looking in the order flow. All right, now we're looking for other key structural areas here. Maybe a test down to this swing down here around 71.5 or so. Maybe this one down around 70, a little bit higher or lower, and then the overall low here for the day or cash session down here around 68. Right, so again, we're looking at the orders to give us insight to understanding or what that potential structure may be. Okay, all right, so still waiting for JTrader in here. As soon as he's in, we'll turn it right over. He'll be in shortly here. Okay, but we're going over the basics in here like we do every Wednesday before JTrader comes in, and this will provide us a good kind of backdrop for the stocks. Okay, the S&P E-mini here, just looking at the index here. All right, so anyway, we can see like how is accepting in the structure here. Okay, well, selling, some buying, selling coming in again. Here's our continuation. Okay, and this is where you can start to look for studying your strategies to put this context together. And this is what order flow It's a main thing, a main driver to look for in order flow. I wanted to say this is what order flow is all about. I think it is, but whatever strategy you're looking at, could be volume profile. It could be something else. It could be patterns. It could be Fibonacci levels. Whatever it is, just make sure, I think you will gain an edge if you look at the order flow to support these ideas. Okay, the probability of your trading will most likely go up quite a bit. Okay, and then there's other confluences, looking at stops, icebergs, etc. Where are larger players? So the stops and icebergs, you can get some insight to where the specific players are dealing. There's Joseph. All right, guys, we'll turn it right over to Joseph and get into some live trading. Good morning, Joseph. Are you there? Joseph?
I can hear.
Ti sento. Non ti sento.
Bruce, can you hear me?
Now I hear you. Okay.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, so let's turn it over to you whenever you're ready to present your screen, etc.
Let me know, Bruce, if you can see my screen.
Yeah, let me get rid of my video in here. Joseph, if you want to put, I can show you how to do this. If you want to put your video, yourself in here, just let me know. I don't know if you've seen.
Okay.
Yeah.
Next time we can do it.
Yeah.
I have the camera on the other computer.
Okay. Yeah. Well, you're a lot more handsome than I am, so I probably attract a lot more viewers in here.
Bruce, please. Come on.
All right, guys. So let me turn it over to Joseph and let him take it away. Hold on just a minute. There he is. I got it. Okay.
All right. Can you see monitor?
Yes. We're all
Perfect.
set.
All right. Let's start, trader. So first of all, thank you for being over here this morning. And I posted very early in the chat room a few examples of what was happening on FUBO and BBBY. So first of all, why choosing these stocks? We have over here BBY up left corner.
I'm sorry, Joseph. Let me just jump in for just a moment. I'm sorry to interrupt you just as you're getting started, but I saw your post earlier. I just want to let people know on YouTube, Joseph and others, Tom B, Doug, other traders, posting here in our Discord channel. If you want to jump over there and you want to follow some of that, that's where that content is. So Joseph was kind enough to post some of this early on, so you get kind of a understanding of what he's going to cover now. So
exactly. So BBY, we have a short squeeze. You can see also over here short float 47%, which is pretty high. We have a high institutional ownership, and the news a few days ago over here of basically they bought a stake in the company. So I'm gonna put over here, jumps as meme stock rolls up 200% in August. Let's see over here, seeking alpha. I'm gonna look for more over here. Ryan Cohen, yes. So he bought 1.67 million call options on BBBY. Also over here, you can see that the position amounted of 11%, 11.80% stake as late March, because he also bought over here last March nearly 10% of the stake, right? So they're accumulating on BBBY. Now looking at a few seconds the stats of the company, I think it's just important to understand over here what we're talking about. Is a $25 company, but it's a 1.65 billion company with a 61 million float. We're gonna cover why this morning we were looking to trade this long, why we then reverse bias for a short. So ignore continue. Let's see if it's going to load. All right. Okay. So very early today, we had a dip into this area of 24.60, 24.50. I will share also the chart with the candles to understand. But I would like that you start looking over here at this pattern. We had this, let's put this white. We had a first pattern of dip, 7 o'clock. Brokers open over here. At least the majority of the brokers will put their orders over here. Other brokers will put over here orders over here at 8 o'clock. Second dip. So we have over here a level where we test twice, 24.50, 24.40. And then you can see that we start having a trend break. So if you look at this pattern, we have a distribution pattern, right? More than accumulation. If you look at this trend line, it seems like a descending triangle. We see over here at this point that we start having a curl and a huge amount of volume jumping in. So I will share after what we did, but the trade I took this morning first, my first trade of the day was a stop, and actually was the only loss of the day. So I started a long when we reclaimed over here the VWAP. I got long exactly over here, and I got stopped out exactly over here. So it was a starter position, so around 5%. And I lost something like around 40 cents. Then I took another feeler, again, another 5% of what I wanted to trade, not of my account, 5%. And then I was risking this area over here, level of support, 25, full round dollar number. But before going into the explanation over here, I want to share 1 second why I was looking at that 25. Let's put over here BBBY. We're going to look at the 5-minute chart. Okay, so I was looking at this area over here. Massive support yesterday. You can see that the price dipped around 12 o'clock and then again at 2 o'clock into this area and always bounce back over here to the 28. So this morning, very early, around 7 o'clock, we got a dip in the 25. We actually went a little bit further to the downside, touching almost a 24, then bounce over here back up. And then over here, creating a higher low, 25, bounce back up. And you can see that in this moment, the price gets tighter, tighter, and tighter, all right? So over here we have or a descending triangle or a wedge, but actually we see the contraction of here, the volume. And then at this point, we see the volume coming in. So this is the point that I shared before in the room. We get in, and after the stop, the first initial stop, which was this one, I basically load over here. And I brought the first exit, 27.55, this area. I had a lot of patience over here. Was feeling good this morning, so I was really focused on what I had to do, my levels. And the reason why I got in with size was this amount of volume that I saw over here. So I was looking at the tape. I started seeing like buyers, 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 buyers. Of course, I had the setup there to tell me to long exactly over here where you see this arrow, right? So I was looking to long exactly over here. And I took with an average of 26. And then I saw this dip pushing and then huge amount of volume. Over here, I saw no seller. They were removing, or at least very few sellers, they were removing all the resistance above, and they start like pushing another dip over here. And at this point, I was looking, okay, let me see if I can trail partial. No, I held, and then I sold over here into this push. Previous day area of resistance. So the 2750 for me was a pretty good key area. Where's to start like trimming. And you can see over here the reason, right? Yesterday, I was looking at this area. So we see that we topped over here into the 28, over here down to 2780, then over here again into 2770s, 2780. So that area over here, where we got over here, the first exit was my first target point. So not bad, because entering over here around 26, I risking again around 40 cents, but I got over here at least 4 times what I had for risk. Then it came down and I bought over here partial, sold over here more. And then once we got this pullback over here to the 26, I reloaded the boat, reloaded, full size back in again. And while I was doing this, I was commenting in my room, telling every single thing that I was doing. So I was already sharing this in streaming in the room. So that dip that came over here at, again, 8:30, check this out. Look, again, that huge amount of volume coming in. And every single time that BBBY today ran, just before we had this pattern over here and over here, every single time. Once we had that breakout, big volume coming in, big volume coming in. So when you see basically into a dip, this pattern scenario, start watching for a possible long. All right. And again, over here, I had patience. I sell partial over here. Why I start selling over here? Because you can see that the first slowdown of momentum we had at this point. This point over here, we sold partial. And then over here, I held. I was looking to hold with the risk 2750, which was the previous support on heat map, resistance on heat map. And then I saw over here another consolidation. And then again, you see the same pattern, right? So we see this V pattern to the downside and then push again. So this happened over and over several times today. And then the last partial of my trade long, I sold it over here. Once I start seeing over here these sellers jumping in, all right, and then I didn't trade this anymore until the open. Let's zoom out a second. Okay. So one thing that I said this morning when I was trading this, sorry, is that I was observing this this area, not from this when we are over here, but I was observing this area from this zone over here. Because when I longed over here that I reloaded, I had intention over here to sell into a big resistance. This was not big enough. And I saw the volume that we had. Of course, I took a big chunk off over here, around 25%. But then I need to see a main magnet area, right? So when we see these big heat maps, and I said this in one of the webinars, we covered this with Bruce in the past. Often those areas are magnets. So you will see really the bars, the price section in a direction to that area. Okay, and we went just to this level over here. We started to make lower highs. I sold everything over here when I see this big dump, right? And then started to make lower highs, lower highs, lower highs. And then we got 930. So my plan, and I said this, I even recorded, I said, traders, I'm going to look for possibly 29 or again 30 area for a short. So the point is, that really work to a T, but you have to be super quick to get this. Because you can see over here, it open again that V pattern, right? So you cannot simply short me over here at the gate or buy me over here at the gate. Wait a second that the market shows you what you're going to do. And again, that V pattern over here. Boom. Long over here if you can, and then rip to the upside. 30. Start shorting when you see sellers over here. And then it dumped $2.50 in about few seconds. So I put over here some examples that we had in the room just to share with you. So this is the level that in pre-market we got out from the long. This is a trader got the short over here, and you can see that on the washout the gate, he covered everything. This is how to get it long instead of the gate. So the long that you see here, this V pattern, right? This is the long over here, exactly this point, this green, and then sell into the rip. So you have to be quick, but that really is your day. And then the reversal over here. So you see this point up here, all right? So that resistance where we said to short, you can see the trader jumping in over here in the 30s and then covering partial, partial, partial. The level this morning I set as target, 24.50. Why 24.50? Again, if you remember, traders, we were looking this morning at those dips that we had, and we had 25 as the main support. These dips happen over here around 24.50, and I was looking also at Bookmap to confirm me that 24.50. Let's put over here. Okay. So when I see Bookmap over here, it gave me the timing. It's very easy to, I'm sorry, to spot the timing that buyers step in. So over here, this sell-off that we have in 950 is this one over here. Let me point the arrow I prefer. This sell-off over here that happens at 26, you see, breakdown is this over here. So at a certain point, we have over here this breakdown, boom, no more buyers supporting over here, and this is unwinding. Okay, huge unwind over here, down to this 200 exponential moving average, perfect dip, and then at a certain point, reason to cover a big partial, and then at a certain point, we had over here buyers stepping in. Again, a cup pattern, then push the upside. And this is BBY today. So perfect good read, looking at the levels, looking at the system that I teach, and looking at Bookmap, how I use it over here. This is exactly how you make big profits. For this month, we're having more than 80% win rate. So something is really working over here. The other trade that we had was FUBO. And again, I shared this morning my FUBO trade, as Bruce said in the room. And it was 50% with my system, 50% with Bookmap over here. So remember before what we said, when big volume comes in, all right, we look for a long. Yesterday, FUBO was a marvelous play, right? I want to show 1 second FUBO. Let me get it with another chart. Let's go up here, FUBO. Okay. So I think this is pretty clear. Long, high volume. Yesterday, FUBO went from 440 up until over here, the 8s. Was 8.15, 8.10. So you can see the move over here going parabolic exhaustion. This seems like really a playbook pattern. Good work over here in the meantime for our traders. I mean, like, not bad for the day. And today, I was looking for those levels. So when I see a chart over here, the first thing I do is I go check the 5 minute or the 50 minutes, start looking for my levels, where I want ideally to long, where I want to short. And I was looking in this area over here for a long. You can see over here that this is called demand zone. And then demand zone to get alone doesn't really work. I need to go check if Bookmap tells me this is a real support today as well. We have in buyers. And you can see over here, so this is why I insist traders. And I always say, having Bookmap is just like on the snow, having snow tires. All right, that's the point. So you can see over here, this zone, right? Now, here we can see even better, this. So you see 1, 2, 3, all buyers over here placed, right? So there's somebody over here in the morning that is basically holding the lows. And these lows are exactly what I'm pointing out, okay? So this over here, this point is where I longed. Long over here, and you can see the price was holding up, right? So they're moving over here the bid, and at a certain point, boom, buyers came in. Buyers came in. Now, at this point, I had only a feeler. So feeler, we covered, I think, Bruce, we covered last week, a feeler starter, how much I use. And a feeler could be anything from, I would say, 5% of the position to 10%. A feeler, a starter. So you're not really loading the boat. You just want to be in this in case this runs or fades, according where your setup, your bias. And then, of course, we're going to look for moments where we're going to add. I've seen this. Remember the pattern that I showed you before? Again. So I enter over here. I knew that the pattern was forming a V pattern over here. And when I decided to get in long, I jumped in. Really jumping pretty good. I had a first entry over here, a second entry over here, and these charts with execution are shared in the room, and that was my stop now. So I was risking this level. That's the level, okay? That's the level of here on the chart. So I started seeing this sweep pattern again, and then buyers. You see over here, buyers coming in. This was a pretty good one. I started to see a huge amount of demand coming in. And only into this area, you can see over here, we start to see some sellers, okay? My sellers are gray. Don't ask me why this color, but it's just like, it's really good for me to see that. And I was looking at this. Let's do like this, sorry. We're gonna put fibs as well. Okay, so these are the fibs that I traced. Over here we had a 50% fib at 712, and at 712, this area here where I started to see sellers, you can see all this gray, I sold a big chunk of the position, more than 50%. And then it stuffed, came down, and I sold everything over here into, over here into the 680. So I waited the open it popped, and I had two plans, or pop and fail or long. Over here we had a pop and fail, and then unwind. It's really sellers over here all morning. I was seeing this dumping. You see, we broke even this main support, and now we're going on all to the backside over here. Now we can put the fib still here. All right, and this was FUBO. Then day was not ended. We had also, and if you have questions, this traders, just like, let's go over together. We had also over here BWV. Anybody traded this? So a tricky one, a lot of volume. First of all, let's look at BWV on a daily chart to see what the stock did in the past, and you really start understanding how these small cap work, right? So this stock came out with the news on vaccine for monkeypox. So I'm going to bring up 1 second the news. BWV, now we don't have any more in the scanner because already started to fail. So BWV, blue water. Put over here, BWV. Oh, sorry, I have to go over here. Okay, BWV. So we have a micro float, a very small float, around 4 million float, right? And these are the gap stats. So 2 times this close red, so below the open, with an average extension of around 14%. So follow me very good over here. Average extension 14%. This means that this could extend generally between 9 and 20%, right? It loves to stand over here at the gate because that's the high of day. And the news is this. Pre-market plans to develop monkeypox shot. Okay, so plans to develop. Said plans to potentially develop monkeypox shot using its technology. Okay, but it's planning to develop, traders. Now, I don't really care about their plan to develop, all right? I want that they have something tangible, so really a vaccine ready. This news is fluff. Now, looking at the daily chart, this is BWV. And then let's investigate a little bit more. We have a company, so we can go to check the financials. They have 18 million cash, no revenues, and no negative net income. So basically, where's the profit for the company? The only way they can do profit and raise money is through offering dilution. Okay. Now, we're going to look into 5 minutes. Actually, we can look into the 1 minute and have also here a Bookmap now. I'm going to put BWV. You already know that when you see the gray dots, that's my, those are the seller, right? So look over here. So in pre-market, me and Bbby, sorry, didn't take any position. And over here, we had this open, 9:30. You can see over here. And right away, boom, extension play, all right? So this is a gap that extends, so push to the upside. Over here, you can see we have a first heat map. So this is a good level where we can short very near the resistance over here, 390, 395, having a tight risk. This is a correct pattern over here to short. Why I say that? Because when it came to the 390s, there was some decent stack amount of liquidity over here, 21,000, 9,000, 7,000, another over here, 14, 15,000. So we had some good selling pressure, all right? So that means that if we miss this area, and we're going to short over here, of course, if we short down here, and let's say this will unwind, whatever eventually unwinded, then we have a higher risk because I'm shorting here, and that's what? That's my risk, unacceptable, right? How many hour return I should have? So I don't really like this this plan to short low, but also don't like to short the front side of the move. So when I see a level, it's not that I just see a level over here, okay, I'm shorting because I have a heat map. No, I want to see a rejection. I posted yesterday something explaining about this. I want to see a rejection. I want to see a level where we actually see sellers jumping in. So this is too early. This is too early. Over here, we go into this zone. we touched the 390. First resistance over here is 395. We're talking about this area. So when I start seeing seller, this is a good level for an entry. And then over here, you can take a starter. You can look for another rejection, but that's a good area for an entry. So in this case, the whole dollar number, which is 4, and sorry, before I'm talking about this zone, $4 number, plus a heat map, plus a rejection over here. So they're testing the zone. This is a first level where we want actually to take the short. Okay. So I'm just sharing a few examples over here to explain. This, for example, is another stock. It's how an example of how a member traded. And you can see that he's avoiding over here the front side. You have to take that back side of the move if you want to short. Otherwise, you will have like, a losing position before that ends up, if it will end up, paying yourself. Always wait for the backside. The second point that we have over here, and we can put back up this, is a certain point you can see, look, the volume jumping in, right? Before, remember BBY, FUBO, they start like to have a massive breakout with a lot of volume over here. And then this explodes, it extends. You see some sellers, but still not enough. And then you start seeing like, again, more sellers. At a certain point over here, look at the sellers that we have, right? And this is the last push that we had. So look at this area. We're talking about this 478. This stopping. Anybody knows why we have over here this sideways action? McLovin, David, Rob, anybody knows about this? So before stalling and then halting, you will see this. So when we have a very high liquidity action, prices are super fast over here. Your level 2 is showing you that we're probably gonna halt. On Bookmap, you see this, but it didn't halt. Okay, you see over here, 932 and 10, 932 and 20. But we get near the halt. At a certain point, when we had this rejection over here, we started like to dump. And that is where, exactly here, where you start seeing the backside of the move. Okay, that's the first scenario. Then it came down. You can see over here now sellers, right? Before we had so many buyers over here. And now we see finally sellers until this $4 over here. And what do you see over here, traders? There we are. This $4 over here. You see a big amount of liquidity. And as I said before, when you see the big amount of liquidity, remember one thing. You will have this as a zone of catalyst where traders are, where the price action is going to be attracted to. So in this case, we start having a push, right? So if you're shorted over here or you're short over here, and you are already looking at this 4 and start to back, to have a pullback over here to the upside, and you see buyers in, that is where I was alerting the room, being that we short over here in the 450s. I said, stop in the money, don't get squeezed, get out before to have this, because it's a recurring pattern that we have. And then we had the second push into this, and I will zoom in. There we are. I think this Bruce over here will say something, but I believe because he loves this. So this is a parabolic move, exhaustion move. So I was over here trading with Bbby, loaded the boat over here. She shared also the chart. We loaded the boat, we took the downside. And the reason, one of the reason is exhaustion with Bookmap. Exhaustion over here with this peak. $5 number. And also beautiful pattern over here, this reversal bar. So of course she was pretty good because she took the 5. But I mean, if you take also the 490 over here, you still see this is a lower high. You still see sellers in. This is a beautiful, beautiful pattern trade. And then once we see this unwind, look, no more buyers, right? Look over here, the tape. We go from $5 down to the 410, almost 90 cents. And then unwinded more, 390. So she's up right now, $1 per share. And you can see again the use of Bookmap. I'm going to point out 2 things that we have over here. So we have exhaustion of the move, and then we have the first main target to the T, right? So here we can see exhaustion of the move, and this went parabolic, okay? We had also a key area, 5, key area, I'm sorry, I cannot write anymore. $5. And then also we had the first TP, okay, target profit. Okay. So that is the main move that we had over here to day traders on BWV. Now, the point on this is that, of course, I'm going to follow this because my beer is in. But the point is, it's still above the pre-market high. And the pre-market high level is this area over here. So we have to be careful, right? We have to be careful over here because if it finds volume, it can still push. If instead unwinds over here, we can look to add on pops. I think it will be pretty interesting over here to read the order flow together. So we're going to follow this for now. We're going to put our levels of resistance, this, and this. And of course, we can put even fibs and everything you want. But for now, let's limit ourselves to this, okay? All right, so these are the main levels that I see right now, around $4, $390, $4, 460, 480, and 520. So we're short, okay, with an average of this. We're not going to add this lower. The only midpoint we're going to add is this key area over here because price can reject this area, right? So we're going to load over there again. Any question, traders?
I just wanted to make a comment here. I'm your neighbors talking about yes, anyone can explain what has happened, what will happen. And I just replied, I mean, he's short. He's in the trade now, and he's explaining why he got in.
Exactly, buddy.
So I just wanted to clarify that. I mean, he is live trading.
Yeah, we're explaining what we did right now with all the entries, live trading, commenting while we're taking the trades. Okay, so all of this is explained by the room, and this is every day since years and years and years. We're not selling over here paper.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of times Joseph is quite done for the day at this point, but he's also he'll find he's traded live in here for years. So just wanted to I wanted to answer that. It's important.
Yeah, of course, of course. So right now, traders, we are looking for possible adds to this scenario. Okay, so adds to this scenario. Let's see if we're gonna have those levels tested. I see over here a juicy 450. Okay, that 450 is also my previous resistance. The price will get to this 450, 460. We can look to re-add. This will be, I would say, a good spot. In the meantime, we can look also at BBBY. On BBY, I'm not in a trade right now. Let's put our Bookmap.
Joseph, I do have a question for you when you have a moment.
Sure, Bruce, you can tell me.
Ah, okay. So the V bottom trade, that's kind of new. I haven't seen you really go over that. It looked more kind of like a breakout trade.
Well, it's not really looking for breakouts because you're still buying the dip. And I would say that, is a fast washout reclaim. Like you can see over here on this V pattern, and then right away it reclaims, right? So I really like it. And for me, that is a very good lower risk entry. Of course, if you see a big support, a big volume to trade. I can share, this is the chart of one of the traders who I'm mentoring. And I just want to share the way to do it because I think he traded perfectly over here. And 10:15, we are at this level over here. Oh, actually, sorry. He didn't get to the 10:15 yet. He posted this before. But you can see another one over here. So this washout over here, 9:30, and then he sells into the rip. So what we were saying before, 9:30, there we are. This wash over here, right? You can see, and just look when the bars come in. Bars come in over here, right? And what he did, he started getting that trade perfectly over here. So today I'm so proud of him. This is his fill. Selling, 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 right? So, and then re-adding and selling. So using those levels of heat maps together with J lines and support resistance to get the perfect entries. Now, that 30 that we saw before, what he did over here, he sold into that 30 because he saw the resistance. So once we had the rejection, he sold it. And then over here again, once we had this secondary push, Bruce, to the, let's zoom out a little bit. Okay. Once we had the secondary push over here to this 28, so we had one seller, second, third, fourth, fifth. This is a big wall of sellers, right? And we have still that 30 there that is not moving. Okay, so what he did, he sold over here again partials from where he was in. And he sold exactly into over here. All right. So this is a correct way to trade it. So buying the dip, selling the rip, or selling the tops over here, the pops or the tops as you prefer, and covering to the washouts or covering to the dips. Okay. This is the correct way to do it. So very, very good work over here. I really like this. Really like this. And that's how simply you take the tops. That's instead how you short the 30. That's how you short the 30. And that's how you buy the perfect dip and sell to the pops. So 2 or 3 strategies working more than 80% win rate. And it simply was amazing. Amazing, amazing, amazing. Now let's go back and let's start looking again. 430 push. So we're gonna check into our BWB. And we're gonna also use this chart. Okay. So I have 2 charts over here, 1 minute over here with Transpider, and the second one over here is toss, just to see my indicators. What we said that we're doing right now is looking for an extension play, into this 450. Let's see if we're going to have a fake out, rejection, or actually a breakout. So we are shorting this 5. What we're going to do is risk maximum the money on a stuff over here. We're going to add a little bit more. Now we see buyers, but also sellers. And that's the V pattern forming again. You see, Bruce, just coming out over here. So fast washout, reclaim over here. But I don't see those strong buyers like we saw before. You see, we have more sellers over here. They're like stalling, right?
Yeah. They may come in.
Over here, they're grinding. The volume dried a little bit. They dried a little bit. Remember, we are above the pre-market high. $4. So this blue line over here, this upper line, is an important daily level. So they're trying to consolidate above. Beautiful place today. Great price action. Market is very good these days. So very, very happy with this environment.
That's
And there
excellent,
we are.
Joseph. Yeah.
They're trying again, 435, a little bit more liquidity. And until a fake of that 450, 460. So as we said before, we're looking for this area over here. Not really looking to touch this. Personally, I'm done. My beer will be in a position. Then once we're finished the trade, again, we're gonna post this again in the room so that members can learn from it. Stalling over here into the 430. And again, a little bit more sellers. Too early, too short. They can still squeeze. The system over here, Bruce, you can see is saying too long, but we're short. We have to stick with the plan. So of course we weren't short over here. We would have gone long over here for 10. Basically, it's just telling us this, right? No
Yeah, I'm
rocket
kind of
science.
curious on that. Like, would you start to exit some?
We already did over here. So when we shorted 5, we already took the partial over here by rules at 25%. And we're looking for this level of here, 330, and then ideally more. But the point is this is not anymore a plus setup. For the fact that in this market, I was covering one day, a few weeks ago, I was covering over here statistics. And when we hold, this is the pre-market high, okay, this level over here. When we hold the pre-market high after 10 o'clock, we have not anymore edge more than 60% that we will unwind. If instead we fail after morning breakout, the pre-market high before 10 o'clock, by stats, more than 80% will fail below the open. So basically what it means, we're gonna close red on the day, all right? But in this case, I have a 50-50. That involves one thing, risk management. So no matter what's your average, if you have something over here that's holding, then you must use stop in the money or stop maximum break even, not give back profits. Yesterday was very simple to see, for example, this. We can put, I believe we can put BBBY, right? And this is a clear example what happened over here. Well, let's put exactly here, where we are. Yep, this. No, I believe I cannot do it. Holding a pre-market high and ran all day. FUBO the same. Kirk the same. KIRK. So a lot of these, they tend really to squeeze. BBY over here, just fading right now. Low volume. It's still not the backside of the move. We're still holding the hourly trend line. We're still holding the J lines over here. So you can see it's still not the backside. Right, we're still holding that trend. Once we see this trend break, then we're gonna look for the possible unwind and fail.
Yeah, Joseph. In fact, what you just said is pretty interesting about your statistics study, and so I've been trying as soon as I can kind of free up a bit of time and have some events maybe in the afternoon, East Coast time here to go over how to build an edge or how to quantify an edge, and you just covered it in kind of a nutshell there of looking at a general statistic and above or below that pre-market, and now you're managing your trade around that.
Yeah, tons of statistics that you can take based on different patterns, different parameters. So tracking is one of the most important things that I teach, because trading right now, and I have, fortunately, I have a team that knows how to code, so they use Python and everything, so they make things very much easier for me. So really props to them, because what I was doing for years, basically manual back testing. Now, for example, there's a trader yesterday, he backtested SPY since 2018 with Python, with precise data, not that repaints, okay? And the results were, for example, impressive. This was what he did, okay? Backtesting, one of the strategies, and this is from 2018. So by doing this, by doing stats, you really become a professional trader and really a totally another level. So
Yeah,
this is a stuff we teach.
that's fantastic. I mean, and really good for people to hear. Your evolution here. You're, you know, um, embracing the and making very good decisions based on the statistics and also the order flow here in Bookmap. Um,
Exactly. Bruce, if I can help and give a tip to traders that are following us, what to track, because I know that traders will ask. First of all, traders, you can track so many things. Tracking gives you an edge, but then of course you need timing of execution that you can find with the chart and with the order flow. And this is for me found by the chart and with Bookmap. That's it. Of course, if I have a stat, like right now we were talking about extension plays above the pre-market high, that I know right now that I don't have any more 60, 70, 80% that this will fail. Of course, I know that risk management being played. I know that I don't have to trade anymore after beyond that time. And I have to be super, I would say, conservative in this moment. If I have instead, I would say, an edge that I know that I will hit the target with certain parameters 80% of the time, of course I will load the boat. If I have also the price action, the order flow, I would say, confirming my decision. Okay, so putting things together. One of the things that I suggest to back test if you trade small caps is, and I trade small caps and big caps and mid caps. But if you trade small caps, one of the main things you should back test are targets. Really, targets. In this case, every time you have a gap, you should see till where we fade by average. A pivot level, a moving average, an amount of percentage. So track this and also track the time. Right now, Bruce, I want to tell you something. Remember, 2 o'clock, we have FOMC. At the same time, in this exact moment, we have both BBBY. We have also air, okay, that is squeezing. Look over here, air. At the same time. So market is really so volatile, even midday. It's not the market we had like a couple of months ago. Really changed, right?
Yeah, no, Joseph, and I know it sounds like a plug for Bookmap here, but I just wanted to let you know that's my goal here. Your coders, Bookmap is there's now a bridge for Python, so you can code in Bookmap using Python.
Thank you, Bruce. We already been in connection with your team, which is
Ah,
actually absolutely great.
okay.
So I'm not gonna step in another stock. As I said, I was already done this morning, just like pointing out that the market over here, where it bounced from, J lines again, right? Here, good. And now we see BBBY. Yeah, BBBY over here. This is the squeeze. 24, 26, $2 in about 3 minutes. And then we have this morning also JCSE, another mover. Where bouncing from? J lines. So look at how many of these, buddy, are bouncing. First one. So that nice decent runner, right? So very simple. Wash out. And then we have also over here air. Again, we had a first dip early in the morning. Then over here, consolidation. If we long, this is a first stop, and then the second one, the third one works. And then we have over here BWV, but of course we're short, so we're not gonna start in with a long. And today we didn't cover big caps or Amazon, others of these that we love to trade, because I believe that FUBO, let me look this fader. We had also Sava, run and fade. And then we had also here BBY. I mean, these were the stocks really to trade these days. Also, we had Veru that lately has been very volatile. I traded the first day of earnings. Look again how Jalen's work. So simply incredible. So we're gonna stay with these two right now. We have BBY, and we're gonna stay with BWB.
Joseph, I mean, like, look, I'm not a small cap trader, and I'm kind of always amazed, but some of the things that you go over and show. Yeah, I'm wondering though, like the main drivers of these kind of you know stocks that have really pretty horrible fundamentals.
Oh
Um,
yes.
yeah. So I mean, I mean, the main drivers are like, I mean, these are just pump and dump strategies again and again and again.
I would say, Bruce, that 90% of these are exactly like you're saying right now. Uh, it's like for us, it's just like momentum or momo trading. So it's taking advantage of that scenario. That could be a long for 30 minutes, 5 minutes, or 1 day. Or in this case, look for opportunities when to short. So, or you trade both short and long, or you decide which side to trade and specialize on that. In that, the majority of these, I mean, BBY now is a 1 billion company, but all the others that we are looking today from here, BWV and others, they are small cap companies. Some have even like as low as 10 million market cap, as low as 500K float. I mean, like you can simply manipulate the float instantly. And you have to be very careful when you trade small caps. Big caps can be much more trendier. So I think big caps are easier for a trader, especially to start. But small caps attract more traders because a lot of traders have a small account. And of course, having a small account, you can trade not Tesla, not Amazon, not Apple. You will trade a $5 stock like BWV. But in order to trade profitably small caps, you need a lot of, I would say, mentoring, a lot of knowledge on order flow in order to spot a manipulation, algorithm, and all these patterns. Otherwise, if you don't do this, if you come to the market unprepared, especially in small caps, market can kill you. Big caps, it's much easier. You take a trend, just look at Apple and the hourly over here last 3 weeks. I mean, you don't have to be rocket science over here. Just every single time that touch that J line, you buy it. And that's it, right? That's it. That's a system. Of course, you will use the lower time frame or whatever. But you cannot simply trade small caps in the same way. Small caps are not trendy. Maybe 1 or 2 days and then they will dump, or then an offering, and then S1. And then what? Careful over here, traders, because we're going to have a possible V pattern scenario again on BWV.
So, in general, and I'd like to talk more about that V pattern, but like in general, the small caps are, insiders or people that have are going to gain financially from trading their company, their stock, to pump it and to dump it, and build value that way. Uh, those are the bigger traders, whereas in the large, and I'm generalizing grossly, but and then the large cap, it is institutions or investors that bigger players that are positioning themselves.
Yes. Uh, what I see, Bruce, is that, like we saw before, we were looking at filings, for example, BWV. The company is just announcing that they may have in the future something for the monkeypox, but nothing for now. It's like if you tell me, Jay, I will have probably, a beautiful mansion in the future, but not now. So I don't come to you. I mean, if you invite me, where I come to see. The same thing over here. So they're basically saying nothing. But of course, look the manipulation, look the volume. We have a 4 million float, 4.5 around. And the volume traded is 48 million. So more than 10 times the float. Flow rotation, then we have high volume, this flow rotation, of course, will push. And what they're going to do, if they have negative net profits, negative net income, so they don't have profits, they don't generate over here an income, what they're going to do, they're going to probably use offerings, they're going to probably dump in order to raise money. And that's over and over and over what these small caps are doing.
Yeah, and then institutional ownership is what you would say is are the drivers in the large caps.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I mean, we can look often. The majority of these small caps will have an institutional ownership 5, 1, 10, 20%. The majority have very low institutional ownership. If we compare one of these with Amazon or Tesla or Meta or all of these, you will see really the difference. So, of course, institutions are smart. They will tend to buy something that they believe in. They're not going to buy something, I don't know now about DBWV or others in particular, but they won't buy something that they don't believe it will work. I mean, something that has a daily chart like this. They won't really buy something like this. Unless over here they start doing a merger or something crazy that they really believe, okay, now this can push for the future.
So
we have to be careful, Bruce, over here on this pattern.
So the on the small caps, we've seen it for years. You going over these things, the bag holders, and where it might go to and where you would get short. Uh, and I've asked though, also maybe you just repeat. What about trading the pump?
You mean taking the long?
Yeah.
Absolutely is a beautiful momentum pattern. But you have to be quick. You have to have your scanners going. You have to be, what I do is this. What I do is this, Bruce. Look 1 second. Just two minutes over here. I go right away, always on my scanners. This is a trade. We have the scanner up. I look right away the float and the reason why it's going up. And this is how I keep my filter. Intraday runners, more than 20%. So during the day, everything that like yesterday was pushing, careful over here, ARTL, Kirk, FUBO, I see them. Then the second thing I do is I immediately open Bookmap because without that, I'm blind. So I need to see, we have bars like in this moment over here or just like slowly grinding and I don't see any kind of volume. And then I open the chart. So imagine I have a scan, I have the chart, I have Bookmap, and a stock does this. Look, I'm gonna put from yesterday, this over here, GIGM is an example of a pump and dump. 1 minute, let's put 1 minute chart, and this is it. So this comes in as scanners, look how much less, 1 minute over here. Or in this case, we had, for example, G-Box. So this was running yesterday, and look today where it is. This was yesterday, traders. It went from 1.5 to almost 2.9, and then faded. This is what they do. Okay, let's go back 1 second to BWB. Let's analyze over here. So we're having the previous resistance at 460. They clear out that 450. So it's still not the moment to add. $452. So while it was going up over here, you can see at 450 they start to sell. It's still not an ad for me. I mean, for my bear. So, or stop in the money. And if you have a $5 average or 495, sorry, I would say risk the 465 over here, just this previous resistance where we topped before for like more than half of your position. Also, previously over here, we got out 25%. And then you will hold with 25 for 480. Okay, over here, if you clear this resistance, 465, okay, that is where you should get out over here 50% of what you have left. Actually, sorry, 50% of the initial position, holding only 25% for an unwind or 480. If over here we would stuff, it would be a re-add, but not yet.
Joseph, I mean, you covered some really great topics.
I hope so. I hope
What
so.
what's that?
I hope so. I
Oh
hope it
yeah,
was useful.
yeah. I mean, some really great topics that are just maybe we should consider some afternoon events and to go over some of those topics in more detail.
Yeah, a lot of these extension, Bruce, I mean, really the majority are happening midday afternoon, like really between 12:30 till 3 p.m. Remember, the market few months ago when we were like, it was a little bit boring small caps because it was only action the first hour and then nothing anymore. Now it really changed. These runners, I mean, yesterday we had like 4. Day before we had like 5 or 6. QRTX, SPRC, TSI, SMTAG, MGL, HIGH, REV, INKT. I'm reading them. They had 12, 1, 2 p.m. run. So the best longs, and then therefore a lot of these, not all, will also fade on day 1. We'll give also the best shorts. That's a short. That's over here. When it fill over here, this red line, exactly this point here. Why? Because you see sellers, you see a stuff in action over here, and you see that we couldn't break that 480. So that would be the recycling of the shares, risking just this level over here, 468. So have a minimal risk. Okay, so that's 465. And I love to see when I say things that traders like Mary or others doing a great job, they're doing this because they're learning the strategy. So this is it. That's your stuff. That's your level. Now you put the risk. So if you short at 463, 64, 65, you just risk at the red level. Boom. You already are in profit. This is how you do it. And now you have 445, first 9 EMA, trim something, then you look for the J lines.
Yeah, great stuff.
Look over here now, sellers, Bruce. Now we have to look. Sellers are joining in more, or we're going to have a reversal upside. If we have a reversal, now we can keep risk to break even. I don't see those big bars right now. MBBO is curling down, beautiful over here. So if we fill this level 445, possible wash coming. Let's look at this 445. They're holding just that dip. You see over here, somebody got scared, canceled at 437. I don't see big bars yet. They're making lower highs. And you can see that beautiful heat map over here, 480, which is our guide, right? 445, Bruce. Possible wash. Let's see. And they have to pull the bid over here. They're holding. Look at the double bottom. 442. If they pull the bid, washes. There we are. Little wash, 435. Now, second one. Let's see if we have it. Curling down. Possible second wash coming. Another pull. Love this price action. Very easy, very slow, simple to read. Not a lot of manipulation over here. Curling down, a little bit more support they form over here in the 420, you see? One already canceled, so it was spoofing over here. Now, if short in that 460s, put the risk in the money using this high over here, 458, 457. You supposedly trim something, now we're looking for this target 420. Why I tell you that 420? Because every single time that we bounced, we got first this and then this.
So Joseph, if you can just go over, I know we're at the end of our time here, but and the risk management, boy, a couple things. Like this has been a really great webinar, as McLovin had mentioned in Discord there. Totally agree. One of the key elements that you look at is not only the trade setup, but even more so, as you've stated in the past, is the risk management. And a lot of traders just don't get that kind of education. And it's probably the number one thing. They hold on to trades when they shouldn't, and get in a lot of trouble. The other thing I wanted to kind of cover, though, was that V bottom trade. I understand the V bottom trade when it goes into one of your levels. But how are you trading it, though, when it's not in one of your levels? It's like a low, a new low.
I'm gonna answer like this, Bruce. Discipline means if I don't have everything to the T, I'm not taking it. The market is giving so many opportunities that I don't need to step in a B setup or a C setup. If everything is perfect, this is every single day. I have a little pre-market plan with my Alberto on my side, and we decide what to buy, what to sell. And often in pre-market we see a lot of opportunities, but maybe only one or two out of 5 or 6 or 7 are A plus where I can simply size. The others maybe I will put, like just a 5% just to be in. But for me, it's really finding your A plus setup. The problem of traders that they overtrade. So overtrading doesn't make you more rich. Overtrading is just like a way to lose more money because you end up doing the wrong patterns that all the unsuccessful traders are doing. If you instead really filter out, like in a trading system, all the bad trades, your trading system will make you billionaire, not millionaire. Now, it's very hard to do this in an emotional, I would say, human being. But of course, you can work on yourself, trying to filter out all the bad trades, filter out your emotions, and be as more analytical as possible. That's the reason why every trader should create a system that can be automatized or can be also manual. Like in this case, seeing a rejection, a resistance, and Bookmap confirming. That's it. Hope makes sense.
Yeah, no, absolutely. You covered so many good things today. Like I said, these can be all like their own webinar subject. The thing that we cover like in our daily webinars is, take that, whatever it is that you trade, like you're looking at your A plus setups,
Yeah,
and then you're going to get the edge with the order flow.
exactly.
So you already know what your setup is. Now, what are the participants and the orders telling you? And that is going to provide you a much an enhanced edge. It's as simple as that.
Exactly. Like over here, you see I put this arrow just before it dumped because I saw no support until 425. And I put this because I was pretty sure it would dump. So this is beautiful, simple to read. And from a simple trade that we took over here, personally, I didn't take it, we got to that first main target, 460 to 420. It's a pretty good return. So first cover 25% out here at a 420. Boom, done. And now you can simply use risk management. We're going to risk a lower high 440, looking for volume coming in. Good, we're going to trail. Volume not coming in, so it's going to be weaker. This is going to fill it more and more and more. Next target 365, 375, pardon, and then 350. I think we covered some very good stuff today, Bruce, and I think that the main lesson today was how to read the charts, and especially on BBBW, FUBO, and BWV. I mean, this is a small cap that is not that easy to trade. I mean, this part, yes. This part was pretty advanced. You have to know the setup and you have to know how to read order flow. And it also involves a lot of risk management over here in the 4 to get out and then reshort it over here and over here.
Yeah, great stuff. Well, thank you, Joseph. Thank you very much. And we will maybe take some bits and pieces of this and try to make some short videos for some people. as well.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
yeah. Well, yeah, excellent stuff, Joseph. If there's anything more else, we can wrap it up.
Okay. All right, Twitter. So I think we covered the majority of the things over here this morning. Um, Actually, beautiful trade over here by Mary. So congratulations. I think that BWV, if it doesn't reclaim anymore 460, it has really the cards over here to unwind. Remember, this is not anymore a plus setup to short over here because we are just in a support area. So be careful. Reach out to Bruce or me if you need extra help. And thank you again. See you next week. Take care. Use your stop loss risk management and God bless you. Bye bye.
Thank you, Joseph.